Damage appears to be confined to maybe a 30-foot length of the bow. It wasn't like a gash, and it wasn't tens of small gashes.
They estimate the size of gaps and puncture holes in the hull add up to 11 square feet.
Scout, be quiet.
A breach in the hull this size would allow 1,400 liters of seawater to gush in every second. And when they analyze how quickly this would have sunk the Titanic, it turns out to be 2.5 hours. Exactly the time the Titanic actually took to sink. It's an enduring mystery solved. The iceberg that collided with Titanic didn't rip a 300-foot tear in the hull. There is just no physical evidence. And it's unlikely it's buried below the seabed. Because a hole that big would have sunk Titanic in minutes, and not the 2.5 hours it took. But the iceberg still inflicted enough structural damage to trigger an epic disaster. But for our team, there's an even bigger question looming.
During the sinking, there was a great cleavage right through the number 3 funnel.
Sorry, I dropped
Separated from the stern.
my phone on here.
How, when, and why did the ship tear in two, separating bow from stern? The answer is here, in broad daylight, on the drained sea floor in the exposed wreck of Titanic. We're peeling back the Atlantic Ocean, draining its waters to view the wreckage of Titanic. This is what the ship looks like today. Without 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers of pitch-black ocean blocking out the sun. Less than a kilometer beyond the massive bow section, at the far end of the debris fields, lies the dismembered stern, the back end of the ship. It's the second largest fragment, 392 feet, 120 meters long. But it's immediately obvious that it's in very different condition than the bow.
The stern is a mess. It looks like it's been ripped up like confetti.
The stern today is pure chaos.
Some of the stern's huge metal components are still intact, like the 40-foot, 12-meter-high engines, each the size of a house. But our highly detailed model also shows decks collapsing as if crushed together. Heavy steel beams are twisted and torn like straws.
It's hard to figure out what you're looking at. To me, it almost looks like a giant pieces of metal sitting on the seafloor, but tough to make it out as a piece of a ship.
Why is it in such bad condition? Investigators have long struggled to explain this.
The stern section has its problems in interpretation because it's so completely broken up.
But within the model, there is a vital clue, something that could unlock its violent story.
On the acoustic map, you can see that the stern was turning counterclock.
It's a massive mark carved into the seabed where the stern crashed. Scientists can read the tracks and interpret how the stern impacted the sea floor.
You can see very well when the stern hit the bottom, the stern was still turning. You can see the bottom of the ship on port side, showing that the stern was turning in the same time.
The marks also let investigators work out the speed of impact. It's estimated that the stern sinks at 50 miles, 80 kilometers per hour, faster than the bow section. Massive drag forces pull on the structure of the stern as it spins through its descent, while the bow is hydrodynamic in shape, cutting cleanly through the water. The stern section spirals chaotically. The damage it suffers during its fall is absolutely catastrophic. catastrophic.
If you have a plane that's damaged in flight, the air will get under the skin of the plane and rip pieces off.
The same thing was happening to Titanic's rapidly disintegrating stern.
At first, large chunks came off, and then, once the structure resisted, small pieces like confetti started to fly away.
Investigators think high-pressure water may have plowed into the ship's internal structure, slamming through the ship's interior walls.
Once the hull is separated from the frames, water will blast through. It'll form a ram. All those interior walls were wooden, and they didn't stand a chance. Once the water started coming through at full force, they were pulverized.
To the team, this helps explain why the stern appears so completely destroyed, while the bow section remains intact. With new evidence, another mystery is solved. The investigation has now shown how the two main sections of the ship reached the ocean floor, how they made impact, and why they look so completely different. But there's still one question to tackle. How and when did Titanic break apart? Around the bow and the stern, massive debris fields extend out into the seabed. For investigators, it's a view they've never seen before. Every new artifact they find is a potential new clue to understanding how and why Titanic broke apart. For years, the dominant theory has been that Titanic broke in two at the surface. As the sinking bow angled down, lifting the stern high in the air, its own unsupported weight became too much. The ship's midsection is crushed under the pressure, and the bow and the stern tear apart.
Under pressure.
With the ocean now drained away, new clues are emerging that could undermine that theory. By looking at the way debris spilled from the ship, the team hopes to get an exact picture of how and where it tore apart. But getting the answer requires a massive effort. The team scans dozens of hours of video taken by robotic cameras to ID and tag the position of as many objects as possible. They build a massive digital database of artifacts from the ocean floor. It includes the position of the more than 5,000 items previous expeditions have recovered from the wreck. Artifacts that tell the story of the Titanic. Like ornate statues from the ship's grand stairway. Chandeliers that once hung in the first-class smoking room. And the finest dishes from Titanic's dining rooms.
Those are pretty nice.
There's even one of the ship's bronze bells.
Oh my god.
And pieces of nautical equipment from the captain's bridge. These are precious objects from the legendary ship.
That's expensive.
But for forensic archaeologists, they are also critical data points that, item by item, reshape the model they are building.
That word that looks like debris is actually debris.
How the ship came apart.
If you didn't know.
The patterns that are emerging from this remapping of the site don't fit any of the traditional models that were there before.
This work will take years to complete.
There's coffee cups, dinner plates, bits of chandeliers, deck benches.
No, pause.
Objects from the ship.
Don't turn on my TV.
As well.
Every data point on the map is a story in
Why are you watching a YouTuber?
a touchstone that reveals a detail of life on Titanic's ill-fated voyage.
I'm not even gonna answer that.
These were all real people who had lives, who had people who loved them. Families who were impacted
by what happened on that night.
Delicate jewelry. Perfume bottles. To whom did they belong?
It's just a very beautiful, very emotional moment just to see everything lying there on the ground. It's a visual story of that tragedy.
After years of research, Chief Conservator Alex Klingelhofer is able to tie artifacts to specific individuals.
This is a pocket watch, an open face style watch. This one still has its hands. It probably stopped when it was immersed in the water.
The watch came from this spot on the debris field, 120 meters east of the stern.
It belonged to Thomas William Solomon Brown. He was a hotelier from South Africa, and he was headed with his family to make a new start in the western part of the United States. He did not survive. However, his wife and his daughter Edith did.
Other passengers even left behind written traces of their lives, still legible after a century in the water. A notebook was found near the stern in debris field number 2. It belonged to third-class passenger Edgardo Samuel Andrew.
He was 17 years old. When you look at his belongings, you find school books. You can still see the writing in here, even though it's quite stained. He used a pencil, and the pencil has remained legible. Here, on this page, he's writing his name, I guess practicing writing his name in the correct way. You begin to see just this young boy going third class by himself to America.
Hundreds of Titanic passengers are rescued from the sea. Alex searches for evidence that Edgardo may have been one of them.
Unfortunately, Edgardo did not survive the voyage.